I let them do their thing, ready for the bad news till the phone ring. Son is dead now anyway, over my head, seek your revenge, son, bitch, son. On your behalf, trying to last out the drill gun, the seal guns, play the hum, for real sons. For you motherfucking hoes.
Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. So let me check if everything is working correctly. Hello everyone, seems like the sound is doing well. So yeah, welcome to another live stream. We are back on the charts and the markets have been moving quite a lot. So we had quite a lot of movement. Again, quite a busy week if you're looking at different news events, different fundamental news events. So let's first start with that. Let's first start with what has been happening this week and still what is going to happen. We have NFP tomorrow, so we have non-farm payrolls. Just a quick glance on the charts. So I am in a long trade on the DAX. I'm looking for buys on the NASDAQ. I am in a USD CAD long and I'm in a pound dollar short. Okay, so those are the trades I have taken. And I'm going to go into detailed explanations of why I took these trades. If you have any questions, any concerns, any psychology questions, risk management strategy, I have my chat open on the side. So let me put in hello. I have the chat open on the side, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions. So let's start with the Curious Kitty Cat. Hello. So Traders Connect has dropped MetaTrader 5 and MetaTrader 4 cannot use them anymore. Yes, that is correct. That is a big pain in the butt. So that's a big problem. I do have like 6 accounts that I'm managing. So without a trade copier, that will be pretty problematic. I am probably gonna go and install a local trade copier, which should connect both my MetaTrader and my CTrader accounts. So I'm looking into installing or buying a VPS and then installing a local trade copier. Until I do that, I will have to do everything manually. So I don't really have an alternative solution for you. What I personally think is, if Traders Connect has stopped working with MetaTrader, or if MetaTrader stopped supporting trade copiers, most of these other online trade copiers will probably cease working with MetaTrader. So I'm not looking for like Traders Connect alternatives. I would much rather get a local trade copier through a VPS. So that is what I'm looking into right now. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure why they stopped supporting MetaTrader. It has to be some sort of legal stuff. So I'm looking for a new one. Seems there are a few choices. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 choices. There's even a free choice, but the free choice that I found does not support CTrader. It only supports MetaTrader, but there's a paid software that actually can connect both your CTrader and your MetaTrader as well. You are using a VPS. Well, if you're using a VPS, it should be pretty easy to set up a trade copier. I think if you go to the YouTube channel called Lisa Forex, I think she made a comparison of the best alternatives to Traders Connect if you want a local copier. So please let us know how you set it up. I never heard of local copiers. I've never set up a local copier either, but it is on my to-do list. So once I do connect everything through a local copier, I'll make a video about it. Yeah, definitely check out Lisa Forex. I think she made a detailed breakdown of the best alternatives to Traders Connect. So if you have any questions on that topic, just put them in the chat. And I want to take a look at Forex Factory. So Forex Calendar, Forex Factory, the best calendar, most simple calendar, tells you exactly what you need to know. As you can see this week from July 27th to August 2nd, a lot of news has been coming out. A lot of news. So we had JOLTS job openings. For the USD, we had the ADP non-farm employment. We had the advanced GDP. So the GDP came in better than expected, which is good for the US dollar. So the US dollar definitely had a big reaction off of that. We had the Bank of Canada. They kept rates the same. Then you had the Fed. So you had a Fed meeting yesterday and they kept rates the same. So that's massive news. The Fed turned out to be a bit more hawkish than expected. Okay, so they did not mention the key from the meeting. I would say the most important thing from that meeting is the sentence that they did not even discuss September rate cuts. Okay, so that was a signal that they're probably more hawkish and that they're not really looking for rate cuts. So instead of 2 rate cuts, we can take a look at the Fed Watch tool. Fed Watch tool. See, let me show you. So this tells you about the rate cuts. What is the chance of a rate cut through the futures market? And as you can see, for September, there is only a 39% chance of a rate cut. In October, I think there's a bigger chance, 62.5%, and in December, there's an 85.1% chance. So the chances have been falling. It used to be like a 90-something% chance that there will be a rate cut. The market is no longer extremely certain that rate cuts will come. So that's hawkish news, and that actually makes the US dollar gain some value. So for us as traders, the most important thing to take away from the Fed meeting yesterday is that the Fed is hawkish. They are concerned about the future. They are concerned about possible sticky inflation. The US economy is doing pretty well. The US economy is pretty healthy. So they may not cut as much as we expected, right? We then had the Bank of Japan. See, we also had the Bank of Japan. They kept rates the same. The meeting, I did a little bit of research. They were a bit hawkish, which means they could raise the rate in the future. They could raise the interest rate in the future. No one knows when. And then the second most important news after the Fed meeting this week is the NFP. Okay, so we have non-farm employment change. That is going to be the most the most important news, and we're going to have to see what happens on NFP. Last few NFPs, we just had massive beats of the forecast. Here, look at this, massive beat again and again. And the last one in July, much bigger than the forecast. So the US economy is doing very, very well. The employment numbers are looking pretty healthy. So there is pretty much no need for the Fed to cut interest rates. So actually short term, I am bullish on the US dollar. Okay. Now next week let's see. So next week we're getting USD ISM services. Okay, we're getting Bank of England. Official bank rate for the Bank of England. I think that's the most important thing next week. So we're getting Bank of England official bank rate. So that's about it for the calendar. We can now go back to the charts. So I know you guys really don't like fundamentals. Yeah, I can see the drop off in the news, or in the views, sorry. But we have to go through the fundamentals because they are the most important market moving factor, okay? But yeah, now we're back at the charts, so hopefully the interest goes up again. So this is what I have on the watch list. Quick run through: DAX, Nasdaq, USD CAD, GBP USD. First, let's see what the DXY is doing. So the dollar index on this news has been gaining a lot of strength. So the dollar index has been looking very strong both Monday and Wednesday. Thursday, we're getting a bit of a pause, a bit of, let's say, break even, or yeah, kind of neutral day. But we definitely had an explosion in the DXY. Two major reasons: GDP out of the United States came in really healthy. Second reason, the Fed seems to be hawkish. So when a central bank is hawkish, when the interest rates maybe go up in the future, or maybe there won't be as many rate cuts as expected, that makes the underlying currency stronger. That makes the US dollar gain value. So short-term forecast on the DXY is, I think we go up. So I think we go up. You know, if you're looking at some support and resistance levels, you can see this level right there. If we look at a specific trend line, we have definitely broken out of this trend line, sort of retested it, and now continued higher. So I think we could hit this level of resistance, and then we'll see what will happen. But short term, I'm bullish the USD, and I'm currently positioned long on the USD. Okay, you're gonna see it a bit later. Now for the S&P, because those are the two, I would say, the most important measures. So most important measures of the market strength, S&P and the DXY. S&P still in a massive uptrend, still looking very, very healthy. I would expect more upside for the S&P. Can we make this full screen? Yeah, we can. Okay, cool. So basically, SPX, I'm bullish. I would expect more upside, and I'm looking for buy setups on the Nasdaq. I do think a pullback will soon happen, so I am expecting a little bit of a pullback. Much better for me to show you the Nasdaq. I would like to see the price hit this level at least, you know, maybe even lower, maybe even this level of support. So yeah, maybe even this lower level of support. I would like to see the price hit those levels. So I think we are a little bit overextended when it comes to technical analysis. We haven't really touched the 20 EMA for, what is it, 26 days now? 38 days. Okay, so for 38 days we haven't touched the 20 EMA. That's really massive. Last time it happened, it was for around 44 days. Okay, but this was a very, very bullish market move. I think we're due for a little bit of a pullback, and I don't really want to buy on these highs. Again, today we have actually a bearish Nasdaq. So interesting. We're getting a bit of a sell-off. So that is definitely interesting. Okay, so now that I have gone through the general markets, let me show you my watch list. Let's do a detailed dive into the watch list. So I am still in my DAX. I'm still in my DAX longs, still in this trade, currently around break even. And this one has been very frustrating, I would say, because from the 7th of July, pretty much nothing happened. We were just in a flat range. Sure, we had the initial big spike up, so we had a lot of initial profits, but then unfortunately price started to retrace, and now it is ranging around inside of this flat area right here. So my game plan is to still keep holding this position. Keep holding this position, but it doesn't look as good for now. It doesn't look as good. If we look at some possible fundamental analysis, no, not this one. Sorry, let me just get my windows. So if we take a look at the NASDAQ, the DAX. So the DAX. Still getting a bullish reading, but again, it's just a 5. So not really a massive bullish reading. I'm not really sure what I will do with the DAX. It's a little bit problematic. I think I'm gonna wait it out and see if the price hits my stop loss. But if we get some more bearish developments, or if we get price action that is just super flat, I will most likely be inclined to possibly close this trade for around break even. So that's if we don't get any new developments in the next few days, maybe next few weeks. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan for the DAX. I'm not really happy with this trade at this point. I don't think it's such a good trade anymore. I have been taken out of silver and gold as well. So basically, let me see, where is my object tree? Yeah, I got taken out of my gold position right here. It was a little bit of a loss. I trailed my stop loss in the end up to, let's say, this level, and then the price just melted lower. This was because of the trade deals. Okay, so when there is uncertainty, like we had with the trade deals, the markets really don't like uncertainty. So things like gold and silver, they tend to go up in value. But if you get trade deals, if you get some clarity, if you get some certainty in the markets, because now there will for certain be a 15% tariff between the United States and EU, then you get gold selling off because it's a risk-off asset. So it's an asset that loves uncertainty. So I got taken out of gold. My forecast for gold is overall bullish, but I think we're going to be ranging around for the next few days or maybe next few weeks. We need another catalyst. We need another reason for gold to go up. So I think we're just going to be ranging around. I'm not looking for more buy entries. I'm not looking to re-enter my buy position. So yeah, I'm basically being patient on gold. But the overall massive uptrend that we have on the daily chart right here, that is still working, right? So the uptrend is still untouched and pretty much, okay, we kind of broke this trend line. But overall, if you look at the overall momentum, and maybe we can go to like the weekly. So weekly chart, you can see most of the momentum is still very, very bullish. So we may get a bit of a pullback, but I don't think that we're going to get a massive pullback. I don't think this trend is over. So yeah, basically that's my analysis. I'm a little bit neutral right now, but if I had to give you a long-term bias, I would say long-term I am bullish on gold. Gold is done. So for silver, I took a nice winner on this one. So got taken out of my position on Wednesday. So basically yesterday evening actually, at around, I think it was like maybe 11 p.m. my time. I trailed my stop loss. So on this level, on this swing low, I trailed my stop loss. I got in here. It was a nice liquidity sweep entry on the 1 hour chart. And that was still the time when fundamentally silver was pretty healthy. And also you had a lot of uncertainty with the trade deals. You didn't have any trade deals. So you had the uncertainty that the trade war will last for another few months. So I thought silver was a great play. Also, gold at that point moved quite a lot. Silver was still pretty flat, so I thought silver was gonna catch up to gold a little bit. And I thought that was a pretty good trade. So silver had a lot of things going for it. It was a really, really nice position. As I mentioned, I kept trailing the stop loss as the price kept moving. Yes, at one point it was running 3.2 R, and in the end I got taken out for 1.6. But that's how it goes. You're never going to be able to catch the whole move. Looks like TradingView is slow again, but that's okay. You're never going to catch the whole move, and you just have to trail the stop loss. You have to make the most out of a trend. So yeah, that's what I did here. Unfortunately, price very heavily dropped when we got the trade deals. We had these massive bearish reactions. Am I looking to re-enter? No, I'm not. I'm being more patient on silver as well. Right now, I'm a little bit neutral. Long-term bullish, yes. So I do think in like the next year or the next 2 years, silver will definitely go up. But in the short term, we could get a bit of a range-bound market. So we could get a little bit a bit of a range-bound market before we actually continue going up. I don't think there will be like this massive correction. I don't think we will go into a let's say a bearish downtrend. I think we're gonna follow with this massive daily momentum. Eventually it is gonna catch up to price, but for now I'm a bit more neutral. Okay, so I'm a bit more neutral on silver. The ratio that I was mentioning, gold to silver, which is very important, is if you type in gold and then slash XAG USD silver, you get this. Okay, so you get the gold to silver ratio, and usually this chart, it likes to be around the middle. Okay, it likes to move around the equilibrium. So the middle is somewhere here, and when it gets into these extremes and these extremes right there, then usually you could get some nice place. So when it's up here, you should be long on silver. When it's down here, you should be long on gold, because here gold is overvalued against silver, and here gold is undervalued against silver. So you could use this analysis of relative strength. You can use it as an extra confluence to take a trade. I know I personally use this as an extra confluence to take the previous setup that I just mentioned. So, and this is kind of the middle. So this would be a fair price. This would be a fair ratio. This would be the ratio where basically this chart stayed for most of the time. See, so yeah, and you can use this on many different things. So we can also take a look at, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum. It is the same thing. Bitcoin is like gold and Ethereum is like silver. So if we go to Bitcoin, Bitcoin right now in a massive uptrend, but slowing down a little bit. Ethereum had a massive explosion recently. So Ethereum had a massive explosion. From the bottom, it's a 167% move. I know Griff mentioned that he bought one Ethereum here right on this bottom. So, and he had also some Ethereum left over from buying through here and through the previous levels. But basically on that one Ethereum that he bought, he is up like 150%. Okay, so that is massive. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is the BTC ETH chart, and this is the same thing as the gold to silver ratio, right? So let's do the same sort of analysis. Wait, what is this? Brian, are you gonna look to sell on Euro US dollar today? Okay, I'll take a look at the Euro dollar. Let me just see Why is this chart so weird? Let's see. To BTC. Does that exist? Let me see some BTC, ETH. Okay, I'm not sure that this is the chart that I want. Let me try to put it on Bitcoin. And let's then click dash ETH USD. Let's do it. Okay, so we have, okay, we need to zoom out. Yeah, this is a good chart. See, so this is what we're looking for. We're looking to find the middle. So kind of the middle of this chart, the equilibrium, the fair price or the fair ratio would be here. So you can see here, Bitcoin is overvalued against Ethereum. Here on the bottom, Bitcoin is undervalued against Ethereum. So you want to be buying Ethereum when we are very overvalued, right? When Bitcoin is very overvalued against Ethereum. And that was the exact signal, you know, at this point, 21st of April, Bitcoin was worth much, much more than Ethereum. And then Ethereum had a massive explosion to the upside. So that can be used as an extra confluence to get in trades. Okay, euro dollar. Okay, let's see the euro dollar. Right now, let's start with the daily chart. Let's first have a quick glance on the fundamentals. So let's have a quick glance on the fundamentals. Here, oh, not this one. Let's type in Ethereum, Euro USD. I think it's gonna be a bit neutral. Yeah, neutral reading right now. So, me personally, I am bearish, to be honest. So the fundamentals are neutral, but the daily chart is looking very bearish in my opinion. This key trend line has broke here. So a key trend line has been broken. And yeah, we're just getting a lot of selling pressure. I'm not looking to sell euro dollar. I think there are some better plays to play the dollar strength. For example, I'm in a USD CAD buy and I'm in a GBP USD sell. So those two trades, in my opinion, are better plays on US dollar strength. But looking at the 1 hour for possibly the Zentum strategy, so for the Zentum technical strategy, I was actually looking to take a flag. If some of the viewers don't know, I trade two strategies. First one, purely technical analysis, 1 hour chart, price action, no news, no indicators. Second one is fundamental analysis, macroeconomic analysis, technical analysis, daily chart, and the 1 hour chart. The actual entries on the 1 hour chart are the same, but I'm looking at different things. So I was looking to take a sell setup here for the first strategy, which was purely technical analysis, because on the 1 hour chart, I saw a lot of selling pressure. So this would have been your flag entry, what we teach at the Zentum Trading. If anyone wants to join, you can join us for free as a free member. I'm going to put it in the chat, okay? So actually, I'm not going to put it in the chat. I'm going to show you just quickly. So if you go to Zentum Trading, and then basically on the top, you click, come on, you can load. Here, join a free Discord and type in your information and you'll get access to our free Discord. You get free monthly emails telling you exactly what happened in the markets, okay? Wait a second, why did this move? So you get free emails telling you exactly what happened in the markets, what has been happening at Zentum, and breaking down our opinion of the markets and some of the trades we have taken. and you get access to my daily forecasts for free. So if you want to know what I'm taking, what I've taken, what I'm looking to take, my analysis, my watch list, join our free Discord. You'll get all of the information there for free. Yeah, I was looking at this trade to sell, but I saw too much buying pressure. Okay, in my opinion, there was just a little bit too much buying pressure, so I decided against this trade. I decided against this flag sell. And yeah, currently it would be around break even. It's not really moving anywhere, but I do like the overall selling pressure. So I do like the selling pressure. I just didn't like this entry. I didn't like this flag entry. Okay, so the DAX we covered. NASDAQ we covered as well. Let's see. So the NASDAQ, I'm looking at this level for a pullback. Okay, so I'm bullish, but I would like to see a pullback first for me to take a buy setup. I have the alert set as well. I would possibly like for the price to go even lower. Looks like we're having a bearish day, but other than this bearish candle, the momentum just seems to be exploding to the upside. So basically 2 levels I'm looking at. I may take an initial buy position here, and then I would take a second buy position a bit lower. And I think those 2 levels could hold. Okay. US economy is doing really well. The data is coming out great. We can take a look at that. So if we go to the Edge Finder and we go to the economic heat maps, also for the Edge Finder, I think today you can still get a 40% off discount. So 40% off today. Tomorrow the discount runs out. So if you use my code MARKO, all of the information is also in the description of the live stream. You can get a 40% off discount on this software, which I absolutely recommend. It has definitely changed the way I trade. It gives you a massive trading edge. So wait, Brian, give me 1 second. My chat is a bit small. Thank you for the insight. No worries, Brian. So you can see so what time do you go live? Most of the time it is on a Thursday at 4 p.m. London time. Okay, so Thursday, 4 p.m. London time, that is my usual time. Sometimes, depending on my schedule, depending on the breaking news, depending on the scheduled news that is happening, I may change the date or the time, okay? But on most weeks, you can find me on Thursday, 4 p.m. London time. Okay, give me just 1 second. And we're back. So this is the US heat map, US economic heat map. It looks at all of the data and it looks at, is the data coming out bullish, the same, or bearish? And you can see a lot of the stuff is coming out bullish for the stocks. You know, a lot of the numbers are looking pretty strong. Look at the GDP. So basically, forecast was 2.5. Previous number was negative and the actual number was 3.0. That is a massive, massive improvement. That is a massive, massive difference. And yeah, that's absolutely great. So really, really healthy. Okay. Getting back to TradingView. You also have to look at artificial intelligence for the United States. That is why I like the NASDAQ. So I like the S&P as well, but the NASDAQ I think has the most chance or the highest probability to produce a lot of profits in 25 and in 26, because the companies that will use artificial intelligence First will be technology companies. So the Nasdaq is comprised of the top 100 technology companies, and that is why I think bullish plays on the Nasdaq are gonna be very high probability. And I'm looking to get in one right now. So I'm looking to buy the Nasdaq. It's just a little bit overextended, as I mentioned, just a little bit too far away. Just a little bit too far away from the 20 MA. I use the 20 MA as a sort of a gauge to see when the market is overextended. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to try and catch the market. I don't want to try to hunt for an entry, you know, because the market can just keep going without me. That is true. But usually if you get in at this level, market will sooner or later have a pullback. And usually the pullback will be to a significant area of support. So maybe the pullback is to here, or maybe the pullback goes to this area of support right there. And now for, I would say, two of the most interesting setups for today. As I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, I am short-term bullish on the US dollar. Short-term bullish on the US dollar. And I decided to execute, let's say, that trading opinion on two currency pairs. First, I'm buying the dollar CAD and I'm selling the pound dollar. Those are my two plays. So let me also show you the fundamentals. If we go to the Edge Finder and we go to the top setups, USD CAD, we should be getting a nice bullish reading. So yes, we're getting a nice bullish reading. US dollar is fundamentally pretty strong. Canadian dollar is pretty weak. Okay. You can take a look at the economic heat maps. This is a summary of all of the big economies. Yeah, euro is okay. Maybe this is a bit of an error. I'm not sure, but USD is bullish. Canadian dollar kind of at 50%. So USD is definitely more bullish than CAD. And as I mentioned, because of different macroeconomic reasons and because of the Fed being more hawkish, I would say a USD CAD buy should be pretty good. GBP USD is the second one. And that one, we're getting a very bearish reading. So we're getting mostly red numbers here. And if we go to the Eco Surprise meter, again, USD is, in my opinion, strong, and the GBP is kind of 50-50. You know, not the best. Is the euro at 100%? Is that correct? Let me check. Okay, looks to be at 100%. So looks like all of the data that is coming out for the euro unemployment rate, okay, it's all coming out more bullish than expected. So that is pretty interesting for the euro. But getting back to it, let me get the charts. So now I have established that fundamentally in macroeconomics and possible sentiment analysis is telling me I want to go long on these, or I want to buy the USD CAD and I want to sell GBP USD. So then I look at the technical analysis, and on the daily chart right here, on the daily, USD CAD broke out of this range. So we had this level of resistance. We broke out of that with quite a lot of momentum. I then zoomed in to the 1 hour chart and I took a break and retest entry. Okay, so that's an entry that we teach at Zendom Trading. It is pretty simple. You basically get an impulse, a pullback, break of the high, retest of the high. So you get in like this, right? And I have a pretty big stop loss. For this strategy, the stop loss needs to make sense on the daily chart. The stop loss needs to be pretty big. So I have a pretty big stop loss for USD CAD. Currently running in a little bit of profit, maybe like 0.3 R, something like that. So pretty happy with that. But yeah, it's not about the short-term profit. I think this trade can run for quite a long time if it goes in my direction. So for this swing strategy, I can hold trades for 10 days, 20 days, maybe even 30 days. I think I held my NZD-JPY. Let me find NZD-JPY. So that position lasted for more than a month. It was a pretty long position. Let's see the daily. Let's measure. So around 61 days, almost 2 months, and I got some positive swaps as well. So I got some extra income. Swaps have to do with interest rates. I'm not gonna go into it too much for this video, but basically I did get positive swaps, which is great. And getting back to it, now you know why I took an entry on USD CAD. My plan is to trail the position on the daily chart, trail the stop loss, and maybe I'll take partials. Maybe I'll take partials if the price wants to go to this level. You know, I'll think about taking partials. I'll keep monitoring the fundamental situation if I don't get taken out for a loss. So we will see what will happen. Second one is GBP USD. So for this one, again, daily chart, bearish, very bearish in my opinion. We had this huge uptrend. Let me just check something as well. Let me check if the stream is doing okay. Okay, we should be fine. Sound, yeah, sound is good. So again, any questions, make sure you put it in the chat. Okay, full screen. Yeah, GBP USD. We had a massive uptrend, but then we broke some key levels. You know, if you're looking at pure technical analysis, and basic support and resistance is the only thing that you need. So first I can see there was a channel. Okay. So first I can see there was a channel right there, and we have broken the lower trend line. So we have definitely broken that, went up a little bit, and then dropped even lower. So that's a very bearish sign in my opinion. Then we also had a pattern. I'm not big on patterns, so I don't really take patterns into my analysis, but here I can definitely spot a head and shoulders pattern, so why not mention it? Basically, this is the left shoulder, this would be the head, and this would be the right shoulder. And this would be the, I think they call it a neckline. I think it's called a neckline. So basically the neckline got broken with quite a lot of bearish momentum. So I think that's a great play to look for shorts. Again, daily chart at this point looks very bearish. So yesterday evening, I got in with a break and retest trade, right? So we basically pushed lower, pulled back. I placed a sell limit at this level. I went to sleep, and then I got taken in. For a sell setup. So now I'm in this trade, and we will see what will happen. I really like the price action. Even on the 1 hour chart, I think this looks pretty healthy. My stop loss is above this high right here. So I have a pretty big stop loss. And the goal is to just trail my position if the price wants to go lower. So some of the levels of support that we can come up to is, well, this one, we're pretty close to that one. But other than that, we have a pretty straight path to this level of support. So if we can hit that level, that would be an amazing trade. That would definitely be a big winner. Again, my game plan, if the price does not stop me out, and if the price decides to move lower, I will just keep trailing my position on these highs. Okay, so that is the game plan for the pound and the US dollar. Let's see, looks like my connection is a bit weak. Let me see if the stream is working well. I think it should be working well, yeah. Okay, let me check. Yeah, should be okay. So that's my main watch list for now, right? That's the main watch list for now. We will see what will happen. I'm gonna quickly run through some forex pairs, these 6 to be precise, and this is more for my technical strategy, for the Zentum strategy, so purely technical analysis, purely price action, and no news, no indicators. So let's quickly go through this, see what is happening. Euro dollar, I already mentioned that I was looking for a sell setup, but I saw a bit too much buying pressure here, so I would prefer to see the price move a bit lower. And I'm definitely bearish. I'm definitely bearish on the dollar pairs. Pound USD we did. I'm in a sell setup. Aussie dollar, bearish, but kind of messy here. You know, I think the pound dollar and the euro dollar, they look better than the Aussie dollar. Euro yen, yeah, I wanted to touch on the yen pairs. We're definitely having a lot of yen weakness lately. Whoa, this is actually AJ. Okay, not the best entry setup that I'm seeing, but still pretty interesting. NJ is looking interesting as well. Let me add it to the watch list. Let's see, yellow. So we had the Bank of Japan. Okay, we had the Bank of Japan interest rate decision and a meeting. They kept rates the same, but they were speaking about possibly raising rates in the future, which should be good for the yen. I'm not sure why the yen is losing so much strength, why the yen is losing so much value. But anyways, looks like traders and investors thought the meeting was actually dovish for the yen. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. I'm looking at the price action. And for my first technical strategy, this actually looks pretty strong. And I would be looking for buy setups on the euro yen. Let me check on the fundamentals just quickly to see what's happening with those. So Edge Finder, let's see top setups. Euro JPY. Neutral, okay. AJ. Neutral, and the last one, NJ. JPY. Neutral. Okay, so the fundamentals are mostly neutral on these JPY pairs. That's interesting, but technical analysis on the 1 hour chart is very bullish. So I'm looking for buy setups on Euro Yen and the New Zealand Yen. I like this strength. On AJ, we are a bit corrective with these huge wicks to the upside. But yeah, they look interesting. I'm gonna have to do some research. I'm not sure why the hell is yen losing. Is the yen losing so much strength? Since basically the meeting was supposed to be a bit hawkish. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Okay, so that's kind of it for the currencies. That's kind of it for the currencies. S&P we covered. US 30. Let's see, daily chart. And again, if you guys have any chart requests or any questions, I have the chat open. We are nearing the end of the stream. I'm going to stream for 10 more minutes and then it's done. So, US 30 stuck at these highs. My overall position on the US indices My overall position is I'm long-term bullish, but I'm waiting for a pullback, and I would actually like to buy them, but I think a pullback will happen. And I think we may have started to see that pullback. We may have started to see price pulling back. Okay, so yeah, I'm basically looking for the price to retrace a bit, give me an entry, and I'm watching the NASDAQ. So I would like to get an entry on the NASDAQ first. Russell, so US 2000 is interestingly nowhere near the highs yet. So we could see the price go up all the way to these highs. There's like a 10% appreciation gap to the all-time highs. So that is interesting. Quick check on the fundamentals for the Russell. Let's see, minimize this. Russell. Bullish. Okay, we're getting a bullish reading on pretty much all of the US indices. So we have a question from Malcolm. Hey Marco, I'm focused on London for now. Do you think I'm missing too much by skipping New York? I like having a set window to trade and then switch off. Appreciate you. You've been a huge help. Thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate the feedback. And all depends. Are you a swing trader? Are you a day trader? Are you a scalper? Do you take 1 or 2 trades per week? Do you take 3 trades per day? Or do you take 30 trades per day as a scalper, you know? So I would say if you're a swing trader, you should definitely be watching all of the sessions, okay? If you're looking at the 4-hour and the daily chart, you should be watching at least 2 sessions, and of course you're sleeping for the 3rd session, but you know, in your case, you should be watching the London session and New York. If you're a day trader, if you're taking 2 to 3 trades per day, I would say sticking to 1 session in the beginning especially should work. Same goes for scalping. So the more trades you take, the less amount of time do you need to actually monitor the charts, okay? So the less amount of time you need to monitor the charts. It also depends, are you working a full-time job? Because if you are working, then it's going to be impossible to be very active on the charts. So if you're working a full-time job and if you're a swing trader, then you cannot be watching all of the sessions. But I would say if you're a beginner, so you can give me more information in the chat. What type of trader are you and how many trades do you take on average per week? And then I can tell you, let's say I can give you a bit of a better advice. But yeah, I think as a beginner for now, if you're taking more than, let's say 2 or 3, if you're taking more than 1 to 2 trades per day, you should be fine trading only the London session and then being done with it. So Karim says, your thoughts on hedging crossover trades to avoid minimize loss? Not sure what you mean by hedging crossover trades. Maybe if I'm like, you mean if I'm long on the US dollar, then I can buy a little bit of USD CAD, sell a little bit of pound USD, sell a little bit of Euro USD, sell a bit of Aussie USD. Do you mean that, or do you mean interest rates, carry trades? You know, where's that carry trade scanner? Do you mean getting income from swaps? Because the New Zealand yen trade that I got taken out of recently for a profit, I got paid some really nice positive swaps on that position. So if you can give me more information on what exactly you mean by hedging crossover trades. Yeah, so you could say I recently went long on both, or went long on USD CAD, went short on GBP USD because overall I am long on the US dollar, and I want to give myself as much exposure to USD longs as I can. That was my goal. So I went through the indices. I am bullish on them. I'm looking for buys on the NASDAQ. Metals, I can mention metals again because I know you guys love I know you guys really like gold. So as far as metals go, on gold, I personally am a bit neutral right now. So you could say short-term neutral, long-term bullish. So I'm not looking to re-enter my position. I got taken out for a loss. Here got taken out for a loss, and on silver got taken out for a winner right here, and this was a reduced risk loss. So I did not take the full loss. I trailed my stop loss when the price had this big move up, and this was a small loss. It was around break even, to be honest. So yeah, currently neutral. That's why I'm not looking for new positions. Long-term bullish. Why am I bullish? Because of this massive uptrend. I think this massive uptrend could definitely continue, and then yeah, if we do get some sort of a catalyst, if we do get some sort of a crisis, some sort of an event that creates massive uncertainty, I will then be looking for some buy setups on gold if that happens. Right now, being more patient. Same with silver. I'm not looking to re-enter a buy setup. Platinum is actually selling off quite nicely, so a lot of selling pressure. I'm not looking to trade it. Copper. Whoa, copper. What happened here? Damn. So for copper, there is a surprise US tariff exemption. Okay, nice. So basically copper had a massive explosion up because Trump announced a tariff, and then looks like Trump announced a tariff exemption yesterday on Wednesday. How did I miss that? Let's see. Let's quickly see that. So if we go to the Edge Finder, if we go to breaking news, for breaking news, I use the website Financial Juice, and then I go to the market moving news. And there you can see exactly what moved the markets. You can see the most important news that happened in the last, let's say, 7 days. So it looks like my internet is a bit slow. But we do have a question from Malcolm. Sorry to interrupt. I trade the 1 hour, 1 to 3 setups a week. Standard strategy. Been doing only London. Love my beauty sleep, but I think I'll start adding New York too. Okay, so 1 to 3 trades per week. That's not a lot. And I would say trading only the 1 hour chart. So maybe you're trading the Zentum strategy / it used to be the GT strategy. So yeah, if you're trading that, I would say you should look to add New York session as well. I think you should, because you're going to increase the trade frequency. It shouldn't be a lot more work with just 1 to 3. Okay, Zentum strategy, cool. So with just 1 to 3 setups per week, I think you should start the New York session as well. Yeah, I think it will definitely benefit you. Any type of a swing strategy where you don't take more than, 5, 6, 7 trades per week, it's easily manageable to just check the charts. Even if you're at work, just once per hour, open your phone, maybe go to the bathroom, check the charts. It's not a lot to do during the day. So that is my recommendation. Try to add the New York session as well. I don't think it should be a lot of work. You can start gradually. You can start watching an extra 2 hours per day and then see how you go, and then watching an extra 4 hours per day of the charts, see how that goes, adjust your schedule, and you should be fine. So let me see. Okay, so this is copper. Okay, so here we had a massive semi-finished copper products and copper. Okay, so this is what made the price of copper explode lower. So that's copper, extremely volatile. I would definitely not be trading this. Yeah, no worries, Malcolm. Yeah, if you're in Zentum, if you also have another question, feel free to send me a DM on Discord, or you can post a message in the Discord server, the Zentum server. Thank you very much for watching the stream. And yeah, so if you guys have any last minute questions, make sure you put them in the chat, because I will soon be closing the stream. So the stream is soon over. If you want to join Zentum Trading, as I mentioned, you can join for free. So all of the information is in the description of this video. And today is the last day of the 40% sale on the Edge Finder. Tomorrow, I think there's going to be no discount, or maybe like a 15% discount, but today there's a 40% discount with my code, which is MARKO. So yeah, I think this software is great. I think it's worth the money, and you get a massive edge out of it. I know I'm getting a bit repetitive, but I wouldn't be promoting it if I didn't personally use it, and if I truly didn't believe it gives you a big edge for your trading. So copper we did. Bitcoin, I mean, it's flat. You know, I'm looking for buy setups possibly if I get a bullish reading. So Karim says hedging like Euro USD sell, GBP USD buy. Aha, okay, like that. Hedging. Yeah, okay. I get it. I don't do that. So that's kind of a bit too complicated for my current strategy. It's also a lot of work. It's some smart traders, some really proficient traders, like for example Chris Pulver. I think he employs that sort of a strategy, like hedging. So maybe his main trade is a euro dollar sell, but he has a hedge with a GBP USD buy, and then he uses that if things go very wrong with his initial position. I personally keep it simple. If I'm short on the euro dollar, that's the only position that I will take. I don't do any advanced hedging like that. But yeah, if you're a really successful trader and you know what you're doing, you can squeeze out even more profits, or you can protect your downside even more with hedging, like you just mentioned in the chat. So that's an interesting way to hedge. Let me quickly check on Bitcoin here on the top setups. So Bitcoin neutral. Yeah, so we're not really getting a big bullish reading. I mean, I like the chart. I definitely like the chart. If I'm going to be looking for buy setups, I would look for a pullback, and I would look for a bullish fundamental signal. Ethereum, massive explosion up. I personally am not trading Ethereum for now. I may start because this was great. I'm just having a really tough time looking at the fundamentals on Ethereum because there aren't any. You know, it just moves when it wants to move, and it's very tough to get a feel for when the trend will continue. Maybe you can focus on purely technical analysis for this one. The VIX is going up a little bit. Volatility is a little bit up. US oil is kind of flat here, had a bit of a push up. Now it's retracing. I personally am not currently trading US oil, and the 10-year yield looks to be going lower, which is good for the US government. They want to see the yields go down so that the US debt is cheaper to repay, and they can take on even more debt with Trump's big beautiful bill. Okay, so yeah, big beautiful bill should increase the US debt even more and possibly introduce inflation. It's gonna devalue the US dollar. You know, dollars get printed. The dollar could lose value. So long term, I'm looking at the gold investments, S&P investments, Bitcoin investments, because the dollar is just gonna keep losing value every single year. So make sure you are protected and you're not holding your portfolio in a lot of US dollars. And that's about it. That kind of wraps it up. We've went through most of the things I wanted to touch on. Very busy week. Tomorrow is NFP, so keep that in mind. My forecast for NFP, well, last 3 NFPs have been really bullish for the US dollar. They have been really good in terms of the US economy, so I expect this one to be bullish as well. I expect these numbers, if we quickly go to the Euro USD, I expect a beat of the forecast. It doesn't matter what happens, but with the current trend, how the US economy is doing, I would expect a big beat of the forecast. Maybe like something like 130, 140, you know, something like that. Watch that. Definitely watch those numbers. Thank you guys very much for watching. Good luck with trading, and I will see you next week on Thursday, most likely 4 p.m. London time, for any updates. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna post my handle. Let me just see. Trading journey. So my Instagram handle is at Marcos Trading Journey. It's in the chat. And on my Instagram, I post all of the updates when I'm gonna live stream. So make sure you follow me on there. Thank you guys very much.